Yo, what is going on, guys? It's One Solo here with TAC Squad Gaming, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you all so much for tuning in today for some more Call of Duty Black Ops 4. So, the video that I put up on the channel earlier today talking about the most overpowered mechanic in Call of Duty Black Ops 4, that video was basically all for naught because Treyarch must have saw my video and they changed everything with the Fog of War right after I posted that video. No, not really. This was all kind of in the works, and they did put out an update today talking about some of the issues they addressed from after week 2 of the multiplayer beta. And the Fog of War mechanic was one of the things that they were going to change. So we're actually going to go run down through all of the changes that they just actually released today. That all of these things are going to be taking effect, I would assume, before Gamescom next week. So for those of you that might be going to Gamescom, you will actually be able to play a more current build of the game with all of these changes and stuff probably on the showroom floor. But without further ado, let's jump right into it. So the first thing that they did announce they were changing was obviously the Fog of War and minimap awareness. So the full reveal circle will be removed as the default functionality, and the standard reveal area will be a cone that reflects the player's field of view. This was like quote unquote directly from what I talked about in my video this morning. And it says also this will continue to always be blocked by solid objects in the game, so it can never be used to see through walls. So that was one of the cool things. If you noticed the Fog of War on the map, anytime there was like a wall or anything in between you and something else, you wouldn't be able to see through it, similar to how like a flashlight or something would be. But they did change it so that it's not 360 degrees. It is a cone with basically whatever is showing on your screen. And then also with that, it says they're moving the full reveal circle to the Team Link perk. So this was a third perk that really wasn't used that much. All it really did was increase the overall Fog of War distance, and then you could actually see your teammates through walls, which really, I don't know exactly. I mean, I guess it wasn't that big of a deal, but it did say that this way players who want that power will need to spend a point on the Create a Class system to get that ability to be able to have a 360 degree, Fog of War, and it's going to basically balance it out a little bit more. And then it also says that it gives Team Link a much needed boost as it significantly underperformed in the beta. Not that many people used it, but that being said, they did not clarify in this where it says that they were going to move the full reveal circle to the Team Link perk. How the Team Link perk currently works is only one person on your team needs to have it on for the entire team to benefit from it. I'm not sure if that's going to include this 360 degree view of the Fog of War on just the person that has the perk on, or like Team Link, it's going to be able to make it so everybody on the team. So for instance, if you have a 5-man squad, that's you, instead of having to take 5 points away, everybody having to use it to have it on there, you could just have one specific person running Team Link and everybody can benefit from it. They did not clarify if that was going to be a thing here, but I'll have to tweet at them and maybe they'll answer me back or something to find out a little bit more information on that. And then they also that they were going to add a additional HUD indicator that lets you know when you are visible to enemy players on the minimap so that you can react accordingly. So similar to how you get vision pulsed, you kind of get a red outline around your weapon so you know that you are being vision pulsed. There's going to be another HUD indicator that lets you know that you are on somebody's Fog of War. That just seems like there's a lot of HUD indicators, only time will tell to see exactly how that's going to play out. And then also it says that red dots on the minimap that appear when firing your gun will fade faster, so there's actually more time to evade after engaging in a gunfight, and those same red dots will no longer reveal teammates that are near the player firing the gun. Basically how that was before is if somebody fired an unsuppressed weapon, it would clear an area around that character, kind of like a Fog of War, and then it would show up if there was any teammates around that player, they would also show up in that area that the Fog of War went away. So they're going to balance that out a little bit more, so you're not going to have everybody show up around the person that's shooting their gun. And then the next thing they talked about was the TAC deploying and spawning. So this was something that they addressed from week 1 to week 2 with the deploy beacon, and then they also kind of adjusted just a little bit more after weekend 2. So they shortened the duration that a TAC deploy is active, and they lengthened its cooldown time, so you're not going to be able to use it as much. And then they also limited the number of spawns per use to 10. And that will help fulfill the goal to kind of providing short bursts of strategic positioning. This was in place before weekend 2. So they also said they were going to relax the radius around which players will spawn on the TAC deploy so that there is more room to spread out and enemies attempting to disable it won't suddenly get overwhelmed by a surge of defenders. That happens so many times. And then also if there was a team that was strategically camping the TAC deploy to get kills, it's going to widen the spawn area so not everybody is literally going to spawn directly on the beacon, which is definitely going to help balance balance out this equipment. And then also they said they were going to add a notification to the death cam where camera breaks into third person when you die that displays when a TAC deploy is active and whether there is a danger nearby. So for instance, when you actually pick to spawn on the TAC deploy, it is going to let you know if there is a nearby enemy, so you can choose whether or not you want to spawn on the beacon or not. And then also it says it appears in-game on the HUD after you spawn on the TAC deploy. So body armor and gear. So this was definitely a controversial item through weekend 1 and weekend 2 of the Black Ops multiplayer beta. And personally, my take on it is they need to get rid of armor. They need to get rid of AP rounds. They just need to get it out of the game. It's an inconsistent thing that just needs to go. That's my personal opinion, but they're not going to be doing that. So they said that explosives should shred the armor gear slot, and it says that was not working correctly in the beta, and they are fixing that. So if you throw a grenade, it's really, armor is not really going to do anything to stop explosive damage. And then it says also damage is now reduced by armor rather than being completely deflected by it. So that was actually instituted before weekend 2, and they made it so that, for instance, instead of just stopping one full bullet, it's only going to stop a percentage of that bullet. So you are still going to take damage from the first shot when you're having armor on. It's just not going to damage you as much as if you were not wearing it at all. And then it says some of the player feedback from the game when fighting against a player with armor was cranked to 11. So basically what they're saying is a lot of people were blowing it out of proportion, how the armor mechanic was being used, and it made it feel a lot worse than it actually was. So they are reducing it to feel less annoying. So they added extra 25 bonus score reward for every kill that you get against an armored player. So they're going to buff it so that you get a little bit more score if you kill an armored player. And then they also said that they were going to be experimenting with a number of ideas to better support its role while also making it less appealing to high aggressive players. For example, impacting certain aspects of movement speed or protection coverage area. So they might slow down your movement speed, similar to like maybe how you have a light machine gun if you were wearing armor. That way, if you want that little bit of extra health, you're going to pay for it with other things in the game. So another hot topic with the multiplayer beta was the free cursor in the user interface. So this is something straight out of Destiny that personally I was all for, something unique, something new to the Call of Duty franchise with just something small in the menus. And I was shocked to see how many people were actually complaining about this feature, and they wanted to be able to navigate the menus just by using the D-pad, which for me personally, either or, doesn't really matter. I kind of thought that the free cursor was kind of something refreshing, something new, and personally I liked it in Destiny. I don't see why it wouldn't work in Call of Duty, but they did say that they are going to be supporting D-pad and free cursor navigation in the menus at the launch of the game. The D-pad navigation was actually not in the multiplayer beta because they kind of wanted to get everybody's opinion on the free cursor navigation, but they did state that you will be able to go into the settings and you can change it to however you see fit, whether or not you want the free cursor navigation or you want to be able to navigate around the menus with the D-pad. It is completely up to you, so they're not going to force you into doing something that you don't want to. You can kind of go back to the old school way of doing it in the menus. And then also one of the other things I saw a lot of people talking about, and I thought this was something weird because it's been in so many other Call of Duties, was the loadouts in the kill cams of the enemy that killed you. So in the beta, they did not actually have this feature, and it said this has been a frequently requested feature, and they assure us that they feel the same way. They were not able to get the loadout information of the player who killed you into the kill cam for the beta, but it will definitely be there in the full game at launch. This is something very important. I wouldn't say in pubs, I guess, as much as maybe a little bit along the lines of competitive and stuff. You can see what somebody was using, so then you can also put on something maybe to counter that, or you have another class set up that has something that you can counter something that that character is running. And sometimes it's nice to know if you got killed by somebody that's using high caliber, like a noob. Just kidding. I was using it in the beta, just trying to test it out and stuff. But me personally, rapid fire, high caliber, those attachments, yes, they are in the game. Yes, they are meant to be used, but it's just kind of a gimmick, in my opinion, of having to use those attachments just because it really definitely alters the way your gun behaves. But that's just my personal opinion. I might get some hate down in the comments for that. But overall, guys, those are the changes that have been instituted. At least there was a few of these changes that were instituted before weekend 2 of the multiplayer beta. And a lot of this stuff was actually tweaked a little bit here and there after weekend 2 of the multiplayer beta. And I'm pretty sure that most of this stuff will probably be in the build at Gamescom. For any of you guys that are actually going over to Gamescom, there will be a playable version of Call of Duty Black Ops 4 on the game floor that you will be able to experience if you go. Some of this stuff, obviously probably the loadouts and the kill cams probably won't quite be there yet because the beta just got over. But most of the stuff we should expect to see in the full game at launch in October. And honestly, the way the loadouts work, I kind of wouldn't mind seeing something like that in Battle Royale in the Blackout mode, just to see maybe what somebody looted up and had on them when they killed you. Who knows? That's not really something that's really crucial because obviously you're not going to be able to respawn and go back in there. But that's just me kind of talking. But overall, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Just kind of a quick wrap-up of all the changes with Call of Duty Black Ops 4 after weekend 2 of the multiplayer beta. If you guys enjoyed this video, you guys found it helpful, you guys are excited for some of these changes in Black Ops 4, make sure to drop a like on the video. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all things with Call of Duty Black Ops 4, State of Decay 2, Ghost Recon Wildlands, and many other games on the channel moving forward. But that is pretty much going to do it for me, guys. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you guys later. Peace out.